Hi, I'm Shane from Shane Smith Law. Today is sort of the COVID-19 update, and what I mean by that is how has COVID-19 or Corona impacted people's personal injury cases? And it's done a couple things. One, it's just made getting all the treatment harder because some of the doctor's offices are closed, some of them are open, you have to wear your mask, you have to social distance, you have to do all of these things and just going out. Also, many people are concerned and worried about going out or sitting in a doctor's waiting room or lobby. I know a lot of the medical providers are trying to deal with this in various different ways. Some are handling it more effectively than others. But just that process alone is more difficult and stressful and makes things harder. Also, by having COVID-19 out there, this has impacted some of the more serious procedures, like our clients that need surgery, or even some of the ones that need MRIs. It's lengthened the time we're having to take to get those, because for a while there was new procedures on how to disinfect an MRI machine. So that meant they couldn't do people back to back to back. They would have to do a person, disinfect it, then do another person later on, which slowed everything down and delayed it, because obviously they're used to doing 16 MRIs a day, now they can only do 6. It's gonna mess up the timeline, okay? So it's delayed getting that kind of medical care. Or some of the facilities we've seen are not able to take non-emergency surgeries anymore. So if you're at your rotator cuff in an accident, need rotator cuff surgery, it's been harder for us to get that scheduled for our clients because it's not an emergency, it's delayed. So it's been kicked down a little lower in the priority for some of the hospitals as they deal with all of the COVID-19 illnesses and sick individuals. So that's just a simple way. Treatment's just been harder. We've also had experience where some of the smaller offices will have a mini COVID-19 outbreak in their office. And what that means is the office is shut down for 2 or 3 weeks, period. And they've legitimately had to just shut the whole office down because the doctor and 2 of their staffs have been sick with COVID-19, or even one of the staff members comes up with it, they've had to shut it down. Obviously this messes up everybody's treatment, and there's a 2 or 3 week gap. So that's occurred sometimes, and it's been harder. Now we are able to explain that to adjusters, defense attorneys, juries, and things like that, and everybody understands, but it's just made it harder. But also we worry about our clients who are in that situation where their medical care is delayed by 2 or 3 weeks. They just have to deal with that themselves or with our office, and it's hard to overcome it because you may be hurt or you may need your medicine or things like that. So that's been a bigger issue that's impacted our clients. It's been even harder getting the medical records and bills from some of the facilities. Once again, a lot of people are working from home, so they may not have access to the same resources they have when they're in the office, which makes everything harder. What used to be 1 or 2 steps now takes 4 and 5 and 6. Or even just mailing things through the post office has been more of a challenge because it seems to be delayed. I think it's because more people are working from home, so there's more stuff going in and out. And also, I know they're dealing with increased safety procedures as well, and they've had absences also. In the settlement of the case, the negotiation process has been harder. A lot of that's just because insurance adjusters, many of them are working from home now as well. It's gotten better over the last 6 months, but in the initial phases, when everybody was sort of transitioning and getting used to it, it was very, very difficult because they, once again, may not have it set up correctly to negotiate and handle files from home. That portion is getting better, but it's still delayed more than it used to be. It can also be harder to get in touch with individuals because if they're at home, maybe the phone systems aren't set up correctly, or just it's harder for inter-office to cover for each other because the adjusters may be out. As far as the litigation process, and if you have to file a lawsuit, that's been very, very challenging because there aren't a lot of juries going on right now. And the legal industry has had to adapt to all of this through Zoom calls and conference calls with judges and doing Zoom depositions and things like that. In the beginning, it was almost shut everything down. Now we're opening back up and we're getting better, but it is delaying things, is what I would say. And there is some increased expense associated with technology, but on the flip side, there's some savings because Zoom depositions don't require everybody to drive and travel and go to a different office as well. And that's been especially helpful for our clients in more remote areas or even an out-of-state medical provider. Things have slowed down, is what I would say, but we continue to push hard and try to get our clients the justice they deserve and the settlements they deserve as soon as we can. In pain, call Shane, 980-999-9999.
980-999-9999. 980-999-9999. Shane Smith Law. In pain, call Shane.